Well, it's officially my favorite time of the year. It's the NBA playoffs. Emotions are going to be high. Home crowds are all going to be wearing the same color, except for the one asshole who decides to leave their sweater on. It's going to be awesome. So let's talk about the first round matchups a little bit. Let's start with the Western Conference. We got the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. I think Golden State sweeps Houston. I don't think James Harden is going to have enough to win one game. I don't think I need to really dive into that series more than that. We've also got San Antonio against Memphis. This Grizzlies team is hanging on by a thread. They're riddled with injuries, and they're run by Matt Barnes and Lance Stevenson, and Zach Randolph is still legitimately good, but I think San Antonio sweeps Memphis as well. We've also got Oklahoma City against the Dallas Mavericks. I respect the hell out of Rick Carlisle and Dirk Nowitzki and all them. I think they can win one game in this series. They're going to slow this thing down, and they might throw some weird defenses at OKC. But the Thunder are just so stupid talented, and Westbrook and Durant are as good as they are. I think they win this series in 5 games. Now we've got the Clippers and the Trailblazers. Now this one's going to be fun, because the Blazers, the Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum thing is, it's pretty real, and they can get pretty dynamic, and they can get hot from 3, and they're also very good at home, and they've had a flair for the dramatic this season. They were better than we thought they were. Alan Crabb is a good 3-and-D player. Plumlee has been nice as, up front. I think the Clippers win this in 6 games, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it went 7. Chris Paul is a very good defensive perimeter player, one of the best in the league still. I think he can do a decent enough job on Damian Lillard. I don't know if Lillard can defend Chris Paul. And the Clippers defensively as a whole, I think they will be good enough to nullify Lillard and McCollum, at least enough to win the series, but I do think the Blazers are going to push them to 6 games, and we might even see Portland blow them out one of the games at home, because that's just kind of the thing Portland does every now and then. But Clips in 6. Over to the Eastern Conference, we have the Cavaliers against the Pistons. Detroit's going in the right direction, and I think Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson can lead them to 1 win in this series, but LeBron James is not going to entertain the Detroit Pistons much at all. I think that's a 5-game series. We have the Toronto Raptors against the Indiana Pacers. I think the Raptors have got this. They've lost in the first round 2 straight seasons. I think Indiana's going to make it a little interesting because they might have the best player on the floor in Paul George. Miles Turner is awesome, and I do think he could cause some problems for Valanciunas just because Turner can hit the mid-range, but Toronto's too good. Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, their second unit. I think they win that series in 6 games. Miami and Charlotte, here's the thing. From a perimeter standpoint, I think this series is kind of even. Kemba Walker and Goran Dragic, they're close to each other. Kemba got better this year. Courtney Lee is a nice defender. I mean, Dwayne Wade's still a better player, but Courtney Lee, he's no scrub. Nicholas Batum is versatile. He can hit the outside shot. He can play as well as defend multiple positions. He's one of my favorite players in the league. But I think Miami wins this thing in 6 for pretty much one reason. Hassan Whiteside is going to destroy anything resembling a Charlotte Hornet. Because if you think Marvin Williams and Cody Zeller and Frank Kaminsky and Al Jefferson are going to do anything against Hassan Whiteside, I disagree with you entirely. And even though I said this is going to be interesting on the perimeter, like I mentioned, Dwayne Wade's better than Courtney Lee. And the Joe Johnson, Josh Richardson, Justice Winslow, Luol Deng rotation thing Miami's got going on, I think it's going to be too much for Charlotte. But Steve Clifford's a good coach. The Hornets have had a nice season. They're going to push them. And here's the series that I can't figure out worth a damn. The Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks. So I'm a Celtics fan. So of course I want the Celtics to win. But, at one point I say Celtics in 7. Next point I say Hawks in 7. Here's what I think. I think the Celtics have the advantage on the perimeter. Okay, I think Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, and Jay Crowder is better than Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, and Kent Bazemore. Okay, I do believe that. But at the same time, Atlanta's perimeter guys are smart players. They can all shoot. And there's also Dennis Schroeder off the bench, who's like probably the best backup point guard in the league, unless I forgot somebody off the top of my head. Like, all that's there. And then there's the Al Horford, Paul Millsap thing, which, look, Jared Sullinger has improved defensively. Amir Johnson is a very good defensive big man. I don't know if they can deal with Horford and Millsap at all. I mean, hell, Brad Stevens has done a great job this year of using the fact that Kelly Olynyk can hit threes to confuse some coaches. That's not going to work against Mike Budenholzer. Like, Millsap as well as Horford can go out and defend Zeller. They can defend Olynyk. But then Olynyk and Zeller can't defend them on the other end, you know? This is part of the reason why I kind of wanted to see Miami in the first round as a Celtics fan, because Eric Spoelstra has no idea how to use Hassan Whiteside against Olynyk. I mean, it's not rocket science. Yeah, Whiteside's not going to defend him on defense because, you know, Olynyk's always out on the perimeter. But you just counter that by giving it to Whiteside at will on the other end. But Spoelstra doesn't do that. That sort of thing ain't going to work against Mike Budenholzer. In fact, I remember earlier in the season, Stevens went with Jay Crowder at the small ball 4, and Budenholzer just killed him by running pick and rolls with Millsap and Horford because they were just too small to deal with it. So I think Millsap and Horford are a little too good, and I actually am going to take the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games. So I'm picking my favorite team to lose in the first round. Do I want them to lose? Of course not. I'm going to be rooting for them all the way, but I think the Hawks are just a little too good. So I think I just covered every single first round series. Shout out to Avery Bradley. Shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr., and I'm done.